Hello everyone, and welcome to another Starcraft 2 video. This one's going to take place on kinda Metalopolis. We'll get back to that in a moment. Let me do the first introductions. I'm the green Terran player, Ketroc, spying in the top 12 o'clock position, and in the 6 o'clock we have the Dagger, my Protoss opponent. Now, on my channel, I mentioned I was in a tournament and posted a link to Game 1 that actually got casted. However, sorry for those of you who tried to see it and weren't able to. The link was actually taken down. I guess they only keep those videos up for like a week and then they get rid of them. Sorry, just taking a drink there. Yep, so I'm going to recast Game 1 and the rest of the tournament as well, at least as far as my run goes. This is a tournament of 128 people. And it's a best of 1 until the round of 16, and then it's a best of 3, and then I think a best of 5 finals, I think is how it works. So, as you can tell, this is Metalopolis, but it's a little bit different. For instance, the pukey yellow tone to the map, I don't understand what that's about, but there's some other differences. See, the minerals are set up a little bit differently, as are the Vespians. There's no GIMP Vespian visor anymore, which is kind of nice. But the biggest difference is that on this map, you will always spawn 12 o'clock versus 6 o'clock. I guess the tournament organizers thought those were the most balanced positions, so that's how we're going to spawn. And the first game of every series must start on this map, so since every series is a best of 1 for the first 3 rounds, the one game is always going to be on Metalopolis, which I'm fine with. It's actually one of my more favorite maps, so hopefully it works out. So Scout's coming in, chasing him with 2 SCVs, 1 to stay on the probe, and 1 to break off and go put down a command center. Notice how I faked to go back to my base and then put down the command center? Oh yeah. I don't like to run straight to the expansion spot with a probe able to see it. So the probe did not actually catch the expansion. So once again, a little metagame effect here. He's probably going to be running around looking, yep, look at his scout pattern. He's going everywhere. He's looking for proxies. So a little unfortunate in my drawing in that I'm facing the previous winner of this tournament. So I'm like, great, round 1, and I'm already probably going to lose. But we'll count Ketroc out yet, because I'm not quite sure the quality of this tournament anyways. Maybe I'm above average compared to my competition. It's hard to say. I believe this guy was top of his diamond division, maybe? Actually, I can't say that for sure. I can't remember anymore. But if he previously won the tournament and beat out 128 players, he can't be that bad. So Probe coming in, only now spotting the fortress, and by spotting I mean getting like obliterated in one fell swoop. I have a feeling I said that phrase wrong too. Who's the mute guy? Tell me if I got that phrase right. Is it Frost Abyss? Kale? I can't remember. It's one of my regular YouTube guys, followers. So Dagger throwing down his expansion now, but he's well ahead, well behind economically anyways. 29 over 30 over 22 harvesters. So I'm in good shape as long as I stay alive. However, he did, let's see, as he said, FML? Yes, he has, so I kind of missed that. Let me back up a touch. Looks like he just threw down his starport, and he got scouted by a scan. And something I noticed when I was watching this replay that I didn't notice during the game, check out this high-level shit. If my computer doesn't lock up here. Alright, so I'm scanning him, and he starts building a phoenix. You see it there? The phoenix building inside the Stargate? And then after the scan disappears, he switches it out to a void ray and chrono boosts it. And it's a little tricky play there, like trying to give me false information. But joke's on him, I didn't even pay attention to that, and I saw Stargate and assumed void ray. I guess you can do a phoenix opening, just kind of for scouting and harass, yeah, SCP harass. And this is why I always have a Marine scout the edge of my base that touches the low ground when I face Protoss, just to prevent stuff like this. The ability to get a pile on low ground and warp in on the high ground. So here he comes, using the void ray for high ground sight and warping in with some stalkers. He's getting up a couple key missile turret placements, but yeah, not good. Having to pull all my units, empty my bunker, pulled a bunch of SCVs to fight as well. And right here I'm like, oh, I'm dead. I can't believe I left my bunker empty and my wall open. Nahidi just walked into my base with his sentries and zealots. But they did walk by the fortress, so where I thought I was dead, maybe not, because they are pretty injured. So pulling some more SCVs. Focus firing the Void Ray with my Marines while I still got Marines. And also I'm like, hey, I've died to this sort of thing like 1,000 times and now I'm mopping it up. I'm not quite sure what went wrong by him. Probably because it wasn't all in. He was going for an expand himself. But yeah, worked out right. Check out this. Blocking my starport land. And I'm not even going to notice that for a while too, so I'm just going to delay my Viking medevac. Ah, even getting a SCV out of it because of my bad control. But I'm alive, and I'm up 35 harvesters to 27. Yeah, I wasn't really watching my base, but this is kind of the point where I just started realizing, hey, I can do this build versus Protoss by only using one gas. So that's what I did. I did my one gas opening, but it was still in its infancy, so I still didn't get a second racks early. I still didn't throw a barracks on the low ground to create a wrap, and I didn't do my 4 barracks timing push. I'm still doing 3 barracks into teching up. But economically in good shape. Units lost tab is, wow, way ahead there as well. So I'm in my game to lose at this point, I think. Bring out the production tab. I know you guys like that. Just doing my upgrades and trying to get some units with supply capping myself, which is always difficult when you're me, because I always supply cap myself. Finding my weak tech lab and finishing that off. That's unfortunate. But with some Stim Marines and Vikings, that's the end of that Void Ray. No more harass coming. Looks like a really bad rally. Oh yeah. Perfect rally. I must have been from my panic when the attack was hitting my base. Probe coming out to get some scouting in, as is this observer. This observer will follow my army around the entire match and I won't notice, because I just suck at seeing observers. It really shouldn't be difficult to spot moving observers. When they've stopped, like so, when they're stopped, it's really hard to spot them. But when they're moving, you can see the wavy stuff. I mean, if you just be attentive, you should be able to catch them. I say this like as a do what I say, not as I do things. I can never spot them. I don't know what's wrong with me. Everyone else can, I can't. So just kind of doing some kind of half push thing here, just kind of getting him on the defensive while I take the high yield to get this planetary fortress going. Of course, I didn't know that I was being spotted this entire move, but yeah, my fortress had caught sight of the space. So moving in, just kind of kiting the zealots, and by fluke I dodged all those force fields, which is nice. Got a handful of units caught in there, so the second half didn't go so well. But overall, looks like that battle was maybe a little bit of a loss on my part, but I'm happy with that. And everything that's injured is going to get refueled, and it allowed me to get my next base down. Anytime you take a high yield base as your third, throw down more barracks than you're used to. It's so much more income you bring in than a regular base. It's just something I'm never used to. I'll always pool up money after taking a high yield just because I'm still not used to it. So throwing down 3 more barracks, trying to spend up this overload of money. Throwing down another command center as well, getting some supply depots down. Oh, and one thing I did notice, I saw the Immortals and saw no Colossus. And what Protoss players do if they want to go straight to Templar tech, often they'll get Immortals to keep themselves alive during that weak point. Kind of where my 4 racks timing push would have done really well, actually, but I didn't. So when I saw the Immortals, I'm immediately like, yeah, he's going for Templar. I recognized it, so I got Cloak for my Ghosts, and now I'm ready for it. Looks like he spotted me running in. So I got a decent EMP there. So at this point, I'm just kind of A-moving my army, sniping the Nexus, while I got my Ghost here ready to spot the rest of his army. There it is. And some good EMPs, and that's, yeah. He's out of shields and he's out of Templar energy. So Just kiting a little bit. I'm going kind of stim happy. I got almost enough medevacs to support it, but I still shouldn't be as reckless as I am on the stim. I did get the Nexus down, which is nice though. And even getting a handful of probes here and there because they're transferring back and forth. Still cutting the Zealots. And stim number 5, I don't know. And at this point I decided to back out. I mostly injured myself from all those stimming, but yeah, I can pull back. So just trying to get things back in line. I realized my macro just went like to the shits during that time. Partially because of all this income I got coming in, and partially because I wasn't building any units while I was doing that micro. My classic mistake. I have streaks where I'm better at it, and then I'll lose it again, then I'll get better at it again, but yeah, it's never been my strength. So, we'll just stop the match right here. We'll do a little assessment. You can see my infantry is at 3-2, starting my 3-3 upgrades, where Protoss is only 1-1, and barely started as 2-2. So way ahead in upgrades. Income tab, 87 harvesters over 51. He's just throwing down his 3rd base. I'm floating out to my 4th, and I'm about to take my 5th and 6th too, since I can afford it, and I got good harvester count to support it. Army tab, 170 over 100. So in every possible way, this match is over. But welcome to the match that made Ketroc rage harder than I've ever raged in my life. Because this is going to start going bad. And I'll explain why in a moment. Some DTs coming out. Always a desperate thing when you know you're dead. Just try to keep them on the defensive with some DTs action. Actually kind of helped me here. It made me realize, hey, I had about 20 harvesters on 2 nearly dead mineral patches. So maybe I should spread those guys out a little bit more. So cleaning that up, and now I'm more or less ready to move out. I got more production down, even throwing some barracks out down here, though I don't think I haven't added them to my hotkey yet, so they're pretty much useless. But I'm almost maxed out, and I'm like, alright, let's just go and end this game. Got that under control, I got my macro down, I got my upgrades going, I got my 5th and 6th going. I think I got everything I need. Let's just move out and end this. Also starting to get my siege tanks up, just for in case this has to, you know, it's good to have a backup plan in case I have to split the map in half, but I'm more or less ready just to end it here. So, leading with my Cloak Ghost yet again, with my rest of my army on an attack move from behind. Throwing down some pretty good EMPs. Looks like I caught most of the good stuff. Just a handful of Zealots run untouched. Now watch my micro here, as my army just completely disappears. Why did that happen? Well, I went to focus one of the Colossus, and next thing I knew, 10 seconds later was about the next time I was able to do an action. My computer completely locked up during that battle. And this is going to become a theme. I'm like, oh, that was kind of bad. However, yeah, this is what happens when you have an old computer and you haven't rebooted for like 3 days, because keep that FTP server running for you guys. My computer just went to the shits. So, army count just completely changed. He's got a 30 army count lead on me now. Losing the fortress. I do have some reinforcements coming in. This is going to be kind of tight. Looks like I got the 14 barracks now on the one hotkey, so I can remax really quickly. Even had some random command centers. I was going to try to cut the map in half using the fortresses. So my long-term plan for this, if the death ball becomes unmanageable, is just cut the map in half and use the siege tank's range to shut down Protoss whenever taking his high yield. That way, you'll have mine out 6 bases, he'll only get to mine out 5. So I got some DTs on the move here. I do have the fortresses, which is nice. Just throw down a missile turret with each of them, and I should be in good shape. So there goes the missile turret, and hopefully I'll do the same with these bases. Am I smart enough to? Come on, Ketroc. Maybe not. So getting ready to move out once more. Taking out all his probes in that expansion. But here comes the Protoss army. And look at this, I can't move. It's like throwing like a bag of popcorn in the microwave. Yeah, you can see I'm I'm starting to catch on now that that was 2 battles in a row now that I couldn't control whatsoever. And let me tell you, if you go mass bio and you cannot dodge storms, you'll never win a battle. You'll never even come close. So another gigantic army loss, but I do have my 14 barracks. I'm still macroing up like crazy. And I completely massacred his third, so he's way behind. Looking at the harvester count is 58 over 36. So basically, yeah, he's mined out his first and second, so he's just mining from one base and long distance mining from a second. So even though I got completely obliterated in 2 straight battles, I'm still in good shape. If I can figure out a way to battle. So remaxing yet again. Getting the army together, got some ghosts in it this time. I'm moving out with another maxed out army. So I noticed him on the high ground there, so I'm going to try to cut him off here before he gets in position. He did get in position in time, so not really set up well here. I did get decent EMPs down, but again, not able to control my army, and they just got stormed and stormed and stormed, and by the time I move them, there's nothing left of it. Like, I know how to dodge storms. I'm not terrible. I just... It wasn't that there was lag, like I would make a command and it wouldn't happen for 2 seconds. It was actually that I just couldn't make a command. Like, my cursor just wouldn't move. It would just go to all choppy and stuff, and... Yeah, at this point I'm starting to get really upset because I'm like, I can't win a battle. I had an insurmountable lead and I think I'm going to lose this game. I can't see any way I can win this game, even though I'm unbelievably far ahead of this guy. Even setting up a ninja base here just to steal some of the resources on his side of the map. Yeah, it looks like it was coming and going because it looks like I was able to move forward and back okay there. But yeah, you can see if you look at my barracks, even though I have 14 of them and I'm not maxed, I'm barely using them. I'm deciding I want to get more, just pump out tanks. So I'm like, okay, what's a unit that works well without any micromanagement whatsoever? I'm like, I'll just get a bunch of tanks. Nailing all his Templar there, awesome. But again, can't kite. I can't move backwards and cut down the zealot count and then move in. Yeah, I'm lucky I kept it nice on the chat because I was like swearing up a storm in my room. I'm like, oh no, I beat the previous champion and this is gonna happen. I do have a good defensive stance at least. I got these fortresses and up and whatnot. And I got some tanks to help solidify my side of the map. It looks like I'm even throwing up tanks in the middle here. And I'm going to land an orbital command. Interesting fact. Workers do not wind walk through tanks. Not in siege mode. I guess siege tanks are like structures. I assumed if I put units in the middle line, like my workers would just move straight through them, because that's kind of the way workers work. But nope, not in siege mode. Just kind of poking around with my Viking, see if I can get some free snipes on the Colossus, but he's wise to it. So again, maxed once more. I'm just stubborn, not giving up on this stuff. Come in, get some great EMPs down, go to attack, and just get completely popped by Psystorm. Moving back to my siege tanks, thinking that might help, but I got no army left. And there goes my orbital. Kind of sucks when you play a game where you only have one orbital. It's not good to lose it. Now I've lost all my ability to scan. That's why I'm like, it looks like I'm finally going to give up on the bio. Like, this is probably my only chances to start, yeah. This is awesome. How often do you see missile turrets going to work on a Colossus? Good job. You even got a kill. That must have been in one of the Colossus. So he does clear out this alley here, but he took a lot of damage in the process just from the handful of tanks and Fortress. I think it might have been better just to sit at range of the Colossus or something. Let's check out Army tab. Pretty even. He's up by about, well, no, he's up by about 40. But that's because I'm not really re-maxing with my bio. I'm just kind of, I'm deciding I want to have enough bio just to kind of defend myself, but I don't want to keep throwing away tons of money. Because if you look at Linus lost, I've lost 12,000 more than him. And even if I do not deny this base, if I just keep throwing away armies, I'm going to end up starving myself out. So here's where things start going better for me. He's trying to take this base, and I'm just kind of keep getting tanks up here to stop it. And it's a pretty good position for me. I can constantly keep moving tanks here, and every time he moves in, I can attack my bio. If he tries to attack, I can fall back to my fortress, assuming I can move my army. So there we go, doing some kiting. And this is what I want to be able to do the whole entire time. Kite backwards, cut down the zealot count, and make his force fields and Psystorms completely screw up. Like, he was like just basically Psystorming his own zealots there. So here's the thing, I'm constantly making more bio because I feel this army is too strong. I only got a handful of units there. So I'm making more and more, even though I didn't want a big bio army, but I realized these units aren't actually coming to me. Well, I guess it hasn't happened yet, but as I'm making them, got a little ahead of myself there. Yeah, I'm feeling this army strong, so I'm making more bio, but whatever unit I had them rally to screwed up. So now they're just pulling up in my base. So even though I don't want a big bio army, I keep seeing this and seeing how small it is, and I keep making more. I'm like, oh, it's still small, I'll make more. Okay, it's still small, I'll make more. And of course it's not growing, because none of my units are actually coming this direction. He tries to flank me from behind this time as I went in to snipe the Nexus. So I'm going to have to try to swing around top. But I'm not going to get back in time. Looks like he's going to come in. And yeah, just snipes the one tank and falls back. I guess he didn't really know how much layers of tanks I had back here, so he didn't want to try engaging the fortress. That actually wasn't true. I just made up some shit to complain about how bad my computer was. That's not the way the lag worked, but I was having like ridiculous speed problems. So able to snipe the Nexus just as he was transferring over all his probes. So I killed a lot of probes actually with my tanks. Every time they came in and clustered up on a mineral patch, my tank up here would just get a nice splash damage shot on them. So he actually had to waste a lot on harvesters. And now, if we back up a touch, all this crap that I had pulled up in my base that I didn't even know about. After I finally sniped the Nexus, I'm like, okay, I've been building a lot of bio. Why isn't none of it showing up here? I go back and look, I'm like, oh wow. I accidentally maxed out on bio yet again. So I'm like, alright, let's try it again, see how this works. So I figure he's taken this base by now. Have I even scanned it yet? Oops. No, but I just assume it's there. So I'm sending over 2 dropships full of units. Just landed in there. At the same time I wanted to distract him, but he's already provided the distraction by coming in with that army. He's going Ghost first. And it looks like he somehow split up his Colossus for some reason, getting 2 of them sniped easily. One of them is running way off to the side. The rest of the stuff's way out of position. Still landing good EMPs. Those Templar are all dry, or at least pretty close to it. Not the best storm dodge in the world, but at least I was capable of doing it this time. My whole army is very red, you notice. Very red. So just kind of kiting and falling back to my fortress here, and he decides to engage with what's left of his army, which isn't much. So fighting with the fortress, pulling back all that stuff. My drop had finished, so I'm bringing the rest of my drop back as well, and with that, that's the end of his army. That's the end of this base, and he's just down to the 1 base, which is barely mining. Having lost his entire army down to 39, that is GG. So what went from like an easy automatic 15-minute win basically became a loss. And yeah, outside of some sort of miracle harass over here when he tried to take the high yield and finally a bio attack that went right for me, I was convinced I was going to lose, and I was going to spend all the next half hour swearing about it as I played it out to a loss. So that was a round of 128, and it was game 1. Game 1 of 1, so that gets me through to the next round. Next round is 64, and we'll be casting this game next.